Hey, folks, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific. I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here all around the globe. So while you're learning the difference between icing and offsides, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
I have no idea what that means because it's baseball season. So there you go.
Currently hockey season.
Couldn't do it
Playoffs.
by me.
Cracking.
Nope. The Americans went out after the first round of playoffs, so hockey season is done.
Oh, how 509 of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of
509,
I know. Yeah, I was happy about that. Speaking of 509, tonight we're talking about Eastern Washington. Yeah, a little play on that. You know, it's episode 509. For those of you that aren't familiar with Eastern Washington, this is area code 509. So we're going to talk about Eastern Washington, and it's going to be fun. And live audience, we always want to hear from you. But first, well, we have to bring in our Eastern expert about the 509. Some say his falls have dried up, and others say his coulee is just so grand. All we know is he's called Kid Vegas 19.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I don't know what to say.
Mission accomplished. So welcome, JD. We're glad you're here, and we're going to
Thank you.
enjoy talking about the 509 eastern half of Washington State tonight.
Exactly.
But first, well, let's just throw out a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons. You know, they help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks. They are one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. You can go to travel.landsharks.ca. They have a whole list of great trips coming up on their website. Just look under upcoming trips. They're going to the Brazil Ape Cache. They're going to the Panama Canal. They're starting in Santiago, Chile. It sounds like an amazing adventure. And, you know, wherever they're involved, it's a great adventure. Check it all out at landsharks.ca. And our other corporate Denali level sponsors, why that would be Gold Country Geotourism. You can visit exploregoldcountry.com. That's what you want to go to. And you can learn all about the geotours. I think there's 2 of them up there now. The whole Gold Country region. And don't forget, they have an app. Go download their app and check out exploregoldcountry.com or facebook.com/exploregoldcountry. And if you, dear listener, would like to know more about supporting this here little podcast, run on over to the CachingNW.com website and click that Patreon link.
Why, thank you so much. Well done. Now, tonight, we are talking about the 509. And as Wits End just said, it is the area code for Eastern Washington. So if you want to add something to tonight's chat, and I know you do, because you guys have great stories about Eastern Washington, use the hashtag 509 in the chat tonight. It's easy. I think I can even spell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, you can use the hashtag FTAS. That's a little harder to spell. FTAS, to bring up a topic in the after show. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Eastern Washington. You're doing some sort of cache bash this weekend. Who knows what people have going on. You can talk about that. And of course, we use the dual hashtags podcast baking and podcast drinking. Sometimes they're the same thing, but I think for most people, they're separate. So use hashtag podcast baking to tell us what you've got cooking tonight, and hashtag podcast drinking to let us know what you're sipping.
I am sip free tonight. No beverage in sight and nothing in the oven. So
just water for me.
Yeah, I forgot to get any water. I'm just dry. Oh, well.
No. We're going to talk about things being dry.
Yeah.
In news, now, not necessarily geocaching news, but Gordon Lightfoot passed away this week.
I did hear that.
Yeah. And for me, you know, growing up in Ohio, of course, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald was the main song that I knew from Gordon Lightfoot.
Well, of course. And every song he sings sounds like The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. You know, he could sing the national anthem, and it would just be like, Forsaken, you see, by the dawn's early light, but so proudly we hail twilight gleaming.
Yeah. He's got quite a library of hits. There's, as they were talking about it, I was listening. I was like, wow, oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I know all these songs.
Let's see, Rainy Day People.
Yeah.
What else is in there?
I
Carefree
can-
Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one I got in my head, but I can't. I know the tune, but I can't come up with the words. Anyway,
It's probably the Edmund Fitzgerald.
that's it.
That's pretty earwormish.
Yeah. What I thought was ironic is he passed away on Great Lakes Awareness Day. So
how ironic.
Yeah.
Well, I have a person I call my magnet because I run things. Is this coincidence or is this irony? Right.
Oh,
And if
okay.
it's irony, it sticks. Right. And she
Oh.
didn't get back to me, but I asked her if this was a coincidence or irony. So
There
I'm
you go.
leaning towards irony, but yeah.
yeah.
And there has to be a day to be aware of the Great Lakes. They're great.
They are
I
great.
mean, how do you not see those things? Hey, there's a Great Lake over there. Let's look at it today.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See, it's Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior, I believe, right?
Holmes.
Because I remember Holmes. That's exactly it. And I learned that because of crossword puzzles.
Ooh.
Not growing up in that area, I didn't learn that in grade school. I learned it because of crossword puzzles. You get this clue that says M in Holmes. I'm like, the what? And I had to,
It's M.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Middle letter, you lost me. But yeah.
It's I grew up on Lake Erie, so I know that one well. Just tonight on Jeopardy, there's what Great Lake is outside of Chicago. I'm like, is that Michigan? It is. Oh, there you go. It hold iron ore. According to GSM times 2, it's definitely irony for the Edmund Fitzgerald,
that's right.
which hold iron. Across the Great Lake, they called it Shigumi. Hey, we are not here to talk about the Great Lakes. There are some other great things we're going to talk about. However, we brought in JD. You know him as Kid Vegas 19. You know him from Cache Advance. JD, how long have you been caching?
I have been caching since October of 2007.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, 10 years old.
Yeah, I couldn't drive at that age.
Give or take 30 years, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your math seems to have a wide range there. Interesting. Okay.
Are any of these songs that I Am contributed the ones you're thinking of?
Sundown. That was it. That was the
yeah.
one I was thinking.
Okay. Sundown, If You Could Read My Mind, Rainy Day People.
Don't all sound alike.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm,
But he had a distinctive sound.
Yes,
You
he
have to
did.
admit that.
yes, he did. We chose, well, it was actually JD's idea to say, hey, you've got episode 509 coming up. 509 is the area code for Eastern Washington. And we're like, oh, that's a great idea. So we had to bring in our Eastern Washington expert. That's you, JD, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, by default, the real expert is gone. I do believe the monkeys, Mr. and Mrs., are probably even more experter than I am.
And they're not even Eastern or Washingtonian.
Exactly.
But you reside in the 509, so
Mhm.
you
So I'll
qualify.
try to represent. We've got so many great people here. It's just amazing. I'll do my best, gang.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, when we started talking, you had some ideas, some great topics that came up, and we expounded on that. And you've got some fun facts.
Yeah, I got a few fun facts about the 509 and the actual area code, the number, and just a quick glance at Wikipedia, and everything you need to know. So, for example, did you know it was in 1954 when 509 came into existence.
As an area code?
Well, yeah, you shouldn't because that's a red herring. It was 1957. So before then, the entire state was 206.
Mm-hmm.
They created this area code 509 and basically the Cascade line. So the Cascade Mountains east, and it's a huge area code. Since that time, 206 has added what, 4 more area codes?
Yeah.
They broke it up even more, and 509
Yeah,
stayed
253,
the same.
425, yeah.
306, 360.
360, yeah.
And so the other thing I learned about this is what's called office codes. Okay, so don't stop me if you've heard this before, but office codes are the 3 digits in front of our 4 digits. You know, so you have the area code, then the office code, and then the house number. And because of the amount of cell phones and online phone numbers, it's predicted that all of the office codes for area code 509, they're going to be exhausted by 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're going to have to think of another area code. And finally, I thought this was interesting, and then it dawned on me, this has happened probably with every area code that has had an office code of 988, which was, I believe, if I remember right, it was 2021 is designated as the National Suicide Prevention Hotline.
Yeah.
So it's like the 3 numbers you dial.
Right.
And so I believe in 509, they just took that office code out of existence, but that's what mandates the 10-digit dialing. Okay, I'm in 509, but if I need to call 509, now I got to do 509.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because if I wanted to, for example, call my good friend Whitsand at his, palatial Dry Falls summer home, and I dial 988, he's 988-5555, and I just dial 988, I end up at the suicide prevention hotline.
You're going to talk to some really friendly, supportive counselors.
Yeah, resources, and so and I imagine that happened to every area.
I'm sure, yeah.
And so that was just interesting.
It's amazing the proliferation of numbers. When I first moved to Tacoma, there were only, like you say, 206 for the west half of the state, 509 for the eastern half, and that was it. And then, growing up, I had one phone number. It was the house phone, was bolted to the kitchen wall, and I had to ask Mom to call my friends. But now, even shortly after I moved to Tacoma, people had a modem line and a fax line and a cell phone line and a pager line and a home phone and a work phone. Before you know it, I got 12 phone numbers assigned to one person. Well, no wonder we ran out of phone numbers. So, yeah.
And he still has to ask his mom before he calls his friends.
I do occasionally, yeah.
That's why I don't get called much. She doesn't like me.
Well, that and the fact that she's been dead for almost 20 years. So,
that
makes it harder to get permission.
Okay.
Sometimes I just live on the edge and call anyway. I still feel guilty, though.
I don't blame you. Oh, this is going to be fun with you two. Okay. Since we're all old here, or at least I am, I'm not saying you two are. Do you remember when you used to dial time at whatever your office code was, 1212?
At the tone, the time will be.
Yep.
9:15 and 40 seconds. Boop.
Well, there's that in the movie Hotline.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, lots of things.
The good old days. Hey, let's talk about some old things.
Okay.
Let's talk about some falls that have dried up. Since we're talking Eastern Washington, right? Dry Falls is one of the most unique and awe-inspiring natural attractions in Washington State. For those not familiar with the Dry Falls, it's a geological wonder located in eastern part of Washington State near the town of Cooley City. Remember that name. We're going to use it again.
Okay.
It's 3.5 miles long, 400-foot high cliff that was formed during catastrophic draining of a massive glacial lake over 15,000 years ago. Did you know all that?
I do now. And apparently according to JD, it's also the home, the location of my vacation home. So I'm looking
Did you
forward to
know?
getting to know. I didn't know that either. So.
Should we go on with more history? During the last ice age, I think that was
Yeah.
like 2 winters ago.
Yeah.
The area surrounding Dry Falls was covered with a massive glacier that created a natural dam holding back the vast body of water known as Glacial Lake Missoula,
Mm-hmm.
as in Montana.
As in.
When that dam broke, the water rushed through the area at incredible speeds, carving out the unique shape of Dry Falls that we see today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and it's not only historically significant. It has a breathtakingly beautiful natural attraction, and it draws visitors from all over the world. Did you know that?
Mm.
You can stand at the top of the cliff and gaze out at the sprawling landscape below, taking in the sight of the jagged rock formations and the serene waters of Sun Lakes State Park. I got to go check this place out. I've never been there.
Oh, the first time you see it, you'll never forget it. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, there are also a lot of trails that lead down into the canyon for people that love hiking and exploring and geocaching. Go figure. I'm going to go on a limb and guess that there's at least one geocache there. Probably more than one.
Probably an earth cache.
Could be.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Where's my mouse? I lost it. CRS 98 agrees.
Oh,
Dry
there-
Falls are
great
really
earth
cool.
cache.
Also, great earth cache.
And you can get an up-close personal view of that unique geology, stunning natural scenery, and earth cache answering.
Oh, is that official term? Answery?
Yes.
Yeah,
It goes
I'm
with
looking for
scen-
the answery.
Yes, it goes with for the scenery and the geology and the answery.
Okay.
Earth cachery.
Love it.
Yeah, it's been there a couple times, and my first time I was there, I distinctly remember 3 geocaches to this day. One of them, it's called Lake Lenore Anti-Aircraft. It's a GCX 1PH, and you climb on top of this fairly significant basalt mound. You're up there a way, but you need to get up there, and there's metal posts driven into the basalt at the top. And the story is, these posts then held machine guns that were designed to defend if the Japanese came up the valley and up Lake Lenore.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
and well, that's interesting. True or not, it's interesting.
Yeah. No kidding.
True or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, the next one is GC13DJ2 sodium, keep it dry. And again, it's up against that lake. And in the 40s, I believe it was after World War II, the Army would back trucks up and dump sodium into the water. And
That doesn't
it
sound good.
reacted.
Yeah, I was gonna say sodium and water don't mix.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little
And,
time on YouTube will tell you that.
And it scared whatever locals were around at the time because there was no warning, of course,
Sure.
from the government. And so that was, just really interesting. Nice right up to that one. And then one of my absolute favorites is archived now, GC1A3G2, and it's called In Where. And as I remember the write-up, the hint was, you want me to stick my hand in where?
And where? Yeah.
But the story was from the Sun Lakes resort area there, about a half-mile easy walk, you can get to this cache. But you have to go through a lava tube.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you can take the 10-mile hike around and get to it. Your choice. So we decided to do the lava tube. And yeah, so I wanted to share, these are the pictures, Chris, of me and my son. At the time we were going into the lava tube. I've already gone through. And so this leg you're seeing in the camel's the shorts is my son. And you can see I'm there helping him out by, taking a picture.
Yeah,
So
very supportive.
yeah, so that's that.
Wow.
that's the inside of the lava tube. And now let's see if I can get to here. And then here's a picture. The next one is me from the top of the lava tube going down in.
Not quite yet. We don't have it.
We don't see that one.
Okay, let me.
There it is.
There we go.
Yeah, technology.
Yeah.
And so this is just a nice little entrance into the lava tube. Once you're down there, you can see the shape of the lava tube, which was as the lava spread around. They think like trees, and then cooled, and then the trees died and decomposed. You had this, what they call lava tube, and you just scampered up the other side and you walked 120 feet to reach under. We're out in this high desert with the basalt. Reach underneath in the 110 degree heat. Don't worry about rattlesnakes. And so no, we got big sticks and we're dragging it out. But yeah, just up until that point in time in my life, I had no idea what a lava tube was, let alone what a dry fall was, or a glacial Lake Missoula, and it's just wow. That if you're not hooked on geocaching by then or after that, then you're not going to be. And then just real quick, an interesting fact that was pointed out when you fly from like Seattle to Spokane to Seattle on those little turboprop planes, and it's a nice clear day, they're low enough that you will look out the window and it looks exactly like a dried up riverbed, and that's exactly what it is. All the water flowed and made a riverbed of what we live on now. It's just crazy. It's big.
Do those planes fly low enough that you could get Earth cache answers in flight and claim the find?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
If you might do it right, they fly low enough you could get some Adventure Lab answers.
Oh, I bet you probably could. Actually.
Yeah. It depends on how good your camera is and what kind of zoom you have.
So yeah, that's I really love the Dry Falls area. Anybody that is traveling to Seattle or from Seattle, haven't been there, you make the detour. It's well worth it.
I looked it up on the map. It's not far off of Highway 2. It looks like it's, I'm going to guess, roughly between George and Grand Coulee, north of Soap Lake and Ephrata. If you're, Soap Lake. I have not been to that part of the state in quite a while, but I'm going to have to go check that out one of these days.
I know I've been there. I didn't know about the lava tubes, so now I want to go back.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just plan a caching in the Northwest event there.
Ooh, I like that. Lisa, who's listening, says channeled Scablands.
Okay, well, Lisa's not supposed to be, commenting. She's supposed to be working the crowd, selling our new gear we came up with. We have 509 hats and T-shirts with the geocaching in the Northwest logo.
Oh, nice!
It's like $14.99 a piece, or $30 for the set. And so, if you guys are interested, let Lisa know.
Well, we got to get it both.
We're going to have to check that out. Yes. I especially am going to have to check that out because here, I'll just throw this out there. Many of our listeners already know this, but maybe there's a few that don't. I am a resident of the 509. Almost a year ago now, and last summer, I moved from Tacoma to the 509. So I are an Easterner now, and I really enjoy it. So
you are an Easterner, huh?
Yeah.
Well, IHAM's keeping us up on sports just in case the Kraken lost tonight.
See, I told you
the series at 1-1.
I told you hockey season was over.
Not yet. It's the best of 7.
The Kraken are out. No, okay,
no, just tonight they're out.
Oh, okay. It's not they don't lose the whole. Well, actually, he didn't say they lost. He just said they lose.
Oh, Kraken.
So they're no longer tight.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now they're tied.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Jim, now that you're a 509er, what
Yeah.
about the Palouse Falls? Have you seen those?
I have not, but interestingly, you bring that up. My wife and I just tonight at dinner time, we're talking about this coming weekend. What should we do? And we talked about packing up the dog and taking a drive to Palouse Falls. It's about an hour from here, and I've not been there, but we just might be there this weekend. I'm not exactly sure how the plans are going to work out. It sounds great. It is another natural wonder, and there are loads of them over here on the eastern side of the state. It is about 4 hours southeast of Seattle, which oddly enough, so am I. But yeah, it's a popular adventure out there. It's from what I've heard, when I read here, it's a 198-foot waterfall, the result of the Palouse River cutting through layers of basalt rock. So I've seen pictures. I had a friend that was going to go up there and shoot some drone video footage of it, and it's amazing. Have you been there, JD? Tell me all your experiences there, because I think you probably have.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times as well. The first time I was introduced to the area by an event that was being held by one of our 509 legendary cachers, Quads in the Mud, Brad.
Uh-huh.
And he put together this event, and we went to it. It just another one of those that it's hard to believe that something like this exists, and you can walk right up to it if you want, if you dare, if you're not afraid of heights and things like that. And the water seems to be rushing all the time. Not just in like this time of the year. This time of the year, it's really rushing. And so it is, again, it's just hard to put into words how this hole in the prairie exists.
Yeah.
And the way you go. And again, it's all due to this Ice Age flood work. But, the Palouse is synonymous with Pullman, and which is where Washington State is, and Palouse is our rich farming area. And I just wanted to shout out one of our other legendary cachers in the Pullman area, PYC, which they have so many clever hides that are just so fun to do, and of all levels of difficulty. If you want something really clever, fun, and quick, they've got them. You want something that is you're grinding for 2.5 months, 2 hours a night, they got that one for you.
Wow.
Okay.
And PYC stands for Pullman Yacht Club. So if you're in that area, college towns are great to cash in anyway. Now you got PYC if you're in Pullman.
There you go.
Nice.
And on the Palouse. Yeah.
By the way, Megan agrees with you. She says it's a great time to go to Palouse Falls. Runoff should be good this weekend. So
Nice. Now, I don't know if I'm familiar with JNLA geocats. Hearing people 2 hours west of here call themselves Easterners.
yeah, and they said that's 2 hours west, as in time zones. They're in the central time zone, 11:30 p.m. and said obviously half asleep. But thanks for joining us. And as we like to say, caching in the Northwest, you're northwest of somewhere.
That's right.
And so JD and I, we're east of somewhere. We are in the eastern half of Washington State, but we're still part of the great Northwest. So,
Mm-hmm. So JNLA is one of our good friends from. We do our Friday Mappy Hour show.
Oh,
those are great.
And she's there, and through that, we've met up several times at like our Seattle event, the Coin Fest in Kansas City, and so I'm surprised that she's up
and waving at you.
Yeah,
we love JD and Lisa. Hi guys.
Very super creative.
We'll all wave back because we're that friendly sorts like that.
Yeah, the super creative cache hides and adventure labs they put out. It's awesome.
Nice. Well, we'll have to have them on to do another show about 2 hours east of Eastern Washington.
That's right.
Oh, Brightling says I visited Palouse Falls last June. Spectacular.
Okay.
Yep.
And CRS 98 says Palouse Falls has another great Earth cache.
Okay.
That's GCYCXV.
Actually, 6YCXV. GC6YCXV. And thank you, CRS98, because, we're land monkeyless tonight, and he will be glad to know that you were representing the Earth Cache fan base there to bring all the Earth caches to light.
Let's see.
All right.
Lisa's still not pushing the 509 merchandise yet. But she says every planet has a north. So, of course, everyone is east of something, too.
That's right. As far as the east is from the west.
That's right. Because you can keep going east and never get to the west.
That's right.
Nice.
Oh, and
Palouse
J and
Falls-
LA Geocats are game to be on the show, and they said there's always caffeine.
Yes, that's right. Hey, great. I'll reach out. We'll get something going.
Drug in a mug. All right, bring us back here.
Well, I just want to mention Palouse is great for kayaking, fishing. You can get rainbow trout. You can get steelhead. If you're into fishing, that's a good spot to go.
I like to eat them.
Yeah. Well, you let somebody else catch them and you buy them from them.
That's generally my
Yeah.
MO, yeah.
Oh, UDAC says, oh, where am I? It's unusual to see JD on camera instead of Lisa. There you go. You're just unusual, JD.
Yeah, it's just my evil ploy to ensure that I'm never invited back on the show again. Oh, that didn't work.
It didn't work for me. They have me back every week.
Mm-hmm. No, we don't catch on that quickly. Okay. There was a name I said to remember that was mentioned earlier, and that name's Cooley. We want to talk about the Grand Cooley Dam.
Ooh, Coolio.
Yeah, we went several years ago with the kids. Did an RV trip, borrowed a friend's RV, went to Eastern Washington. Steamboat Rock was a great place, and we visited Grand Cooley Dam. That's on the Columbia River.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the second largest concrete dam in the world? Well, not now. I think maybe now it's the third.
I don't know the statistics, but
US.
it is big. And that's one I have been to. They do a laser light show on the face of the dam at night.
Oh man, that laser light shows we're staying up for.
Yeah.
So when you're there, take a tour. They will walk you down through the dam, let you see the generators. As I like to say, when you're at the dam, take the dam tour.
That's right.
You get to see the dam generators. You get to see all the inner workings, and they'll tell you. And they take you places that you can't just wander on your own. So it's truly worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I don't know if we're going to cover this later or not, so I'll just throw it in there now. The 509 has a big red wagon and a garbage goat, both of which I'm very familiar with. So
Yes.
yeah. But back to
just leave that out there. You're not going to explain it.
I'm just going to throw it out there and see what happens. If we don't get to it later, we'll talk about it in the after show or something, maybe. But yeah, they do.
See, GSM times 2 agrees with me. It's a damn
It
good
is. It is. And we took it, gosh, it had to be 20 years ago. It's been a long time, but I need to get back up there and check that out. The dam, well, like most hydroelectric dams, create a lake, or at least expand the existing lake when they built. And the Lake Roosevelt National Recreation Area is held back by the Grand Coulee Dam, and it's a great place for fishing, boating, and swimming. I have a friend of mine that used to go on a houseboat vacation every summer to Lake Roosevelt. That was their thing. You can go on the Banks Lake Trail and hike there. You can the Kettle Crest Trail. There's some great trails. And don't forget that it's the best times to visit there. Summer months are the busiest and the most, but spring and fall, again, those shoulder seasons, we've talked about it before. Those can be a fantastic time to visit. The crowds are going to be less and the temperatures are going to be a little less extremely hot. So go check it out in the shoulder seasons. But if you're there in the summer or really any time, this is Eastern Washington. It can be hot and dry. Don't forget your sunscreen. The sun is just a little bit hotter and brighter, it seems, over here than in Tacoma. So yes, water, stay hydrated, sunscreen, keep your skin protected, but have a good time.
That's right. I'll tell a little story. When we were there, we ate lunch in the town of Cooley, and right then a group of motorcycles came through, Harleys, and the way their loud exhaust reverberated off the dam, it just it was just this massive sound. It's like, whoa, yeah, they're in town, don't you?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they like to go there on purpose.
There's no stealth to that. All right. Do you have any memories over there, JD, of the dam?
Oh, so Lisa and I haven't together explored the dam like you guys have described it, but we've been near it. And one of our geocaches that we found near the dam, it was a pullout, so you could look at the dam. So you're quite a ways away from the dam, but that's what the pullout was built for. So there's a guardrail cache there.
Oh, okay.
And so we pull in. I think we're coming back from the Methow Valley, and pull in, and there's a truck, a big semi truck, right? The headlight is right where the cache is going to be.
Of course.
And so that means when we park behind him. We're automatically like 70 feet away from the cache because of this guy. And as soon as we get out, he takes off. If he could drop the clutch in a big rig, he would have. He's gone. Yeah, well, we're out of the car. I'm not going to get back in the car to drive the 70 feet. So we get out, start walking the cache, and instantly we both notice we are surrounded by a swarm of bees. And this is sort of scary. And then we both notice at the same time, well, the bees aren't bothering us. And they were, what make a short story long, they turned out to be helper bees. If we were cartoons and they were cartoons, the swarm of bees would have formed a hand with a finger pointing where the cache is. and we sign it, and we take our pictures of the dam, and the bees escort us back to the car. It was the weirdest thing. Not a one landed on either of us. And so I don't think it was left by that trucker, but it was just it was a real interesting guardrail cache for sure. And and I wanted to point out that area of the state is now you're entering into legendary cacher Mr. Gadget 2. It covers a lot of territory.
Yes,
and
he does.
A lot of great gadgety caches.
He'll drive to Yakima just for a night event and then turn around and drive the 2 hours back. Just saying. Met him there.
Why not?
Just because this is one of my favorite types of jokes, I'm just going to punch a bunch of them here. Starcasher says, whenever I go to places like this, I take a lot of damn pictures.
Yep.
And GSM times 2 says, those bikers, they make a lot of damn noise.
Yes.
Yeah. J in LA love all the damn jokes. So, Komakino can't wait to go out there and find all the damn caches. See, I can do this and still keep it family friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dora Moore says, forget about the dam. I just Googled the garbage goat. I need to go feed it something.
It is cool. It's in Spokane, and there's a large industrial vacuum buried somewhere behind it in the mountain and the rock or whatever. But yeah, you hit the button to start it, and you can feed your garbage towards the mouth of the goat, which is where the vacuum intake port is. And yeah, it's fun. The kids enjoyed that when we visited that. I don't remember. It's in the park where correct me, JD. Expo 86, was that the World's Fair there?
Yeah, Expo 74.
74. Okay, Expo 86 was BC, I think. So yeah, the World's Fair of 74 was there in Spokane, and that's the park where there's a carousel and there's a garbage goat and a very, very large red wagon.
And so the park is undergoing renovations for the 50th year next year.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Lisa was there, Riverfront Park, Expo 74.
There you go.
She was just a wee tyke.
GSM times 2. Sounds like the swarming bees were looking for a place to establish a new hive.
Oh, well, a guardrail with a geocache is a perfect place to build a hive.
Yes, I have found those. I don't remember what it was, if it was a bee or a hornet or a yellow jacket, but I reached into the end of a guardrail, got stung,
Ugh,
and said, "That's it. I'm done
Yeah.
caching for the day.
DNF.
I don't care anymore."
Yeah.
That hurt, and I was angry.
The bees were angry that day, my friend.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So was the cacher.
All right. Oh, Bryling was also at Expo 74 at the age of 3. So,
Really? Tell us all about it, Brylang. Everything you remember.
yeah. Yeah, he's smiling. Well, JD was talking about lava tubes earlier, and another site in Eastern Washington are the Garner Caves, named after James Garner from the Rockford file. No, that was not it.
Hey, he does the J turns better than anyone else.
This is Jim Rockford. Leave a message after the tone. Garner Caves, they're a system of underground lava tubes.
Hey,
They
we
were
talked
created over 15,000 years ago during a volcanic eruption. Hence the lava and all.
Oh, yeah.
They're near Ellensburg. They are a popular destination for geocachers and spelunkers and just general sightseeing. They are an unforgettable experience, I've heard. I cannot testify to this firsthand, but they offer a glimpse into the fascinating geology of that whole Ellensburg region. And I like that area. I spent just a little bit of time there. I'd like to spend some more. Stalactites, stalagmites, lava flow formations. It's an incredible place to see. And a lot of plant and animal life have grown there, including bats, mice, and spiders.
Ooh, some of my favorites.
Some of my favorites to observe from a distance.
Yeah.
Or, let somebody else go in and find the cache. But got to check out the Garner Cave sometime.
Megan says they're on her geocaching bucket list.
Okay.
Now, I hear it's a bit of a challenge. They're not easy to explore. So you want to, be prepared for it. Of course, get proper clothes, sturdy shoes, maybe a helmet, headlight, flashlight. It's a cave. You're going to need light. Don't be surprised there. And bring plenty of water because it can get still warm in Eastern Washington. Did we talk about that? Did we talk about being careful in Eastern Washington because there are rattlesnakes over there?
Yeah.
Be careful where you stick your hands. There's scorpions in some places. So you just want to be careful. So, you want to go to the Garner Caves. They got unique geology. Guess what? There's going to be an earth cache there.
What?
I know. You're shocked.
So
I don't think you can do that when you're flying over the plane over them because they're underground. You can't quite see what you need to see.
Well, this is very interesting. Those sound awesome. And maybe due to a spelling error, that was not what I was thinking. There's and maybe Megan and Lisa can help me out, but really on the eastern Washington border, just south of Canada, is Gardner Caves, and maybe the spelling's different.
With a D, I see Megan says the Gardner Caves are on her caching bucket list. So.
I missed that. I read right past it.
Well, no, this is cool. Now I've got another place in the 509 I got to
right. Check that out.
But the caves that we got to, they held tours. You went in as a group and down, and it was, you could, I think there's enough distance you could legally hide a cache at the very end and at the very beginning. It was like 528 feet you had to go, and it's all built out and lighted, and you can see all the amazing waterfalls, like stalagmites and stalactites and the little bugs and stuff. We went with a group of people. There were a couple that was from Germany, Lisa, myself, and then a group of, I'm going to call them Hutterites, the religious group, where the men will wear the black hat and they have the beard with no mustache, and the ladies are always have their bonnets and that type. And they were in our group, and we're all going down there, and we get to the very bottom. You can't go anymore. You have to turn around and come back. And our guide says, "Do you mind? This group here has asked that we turn out the lights, and they want to sing a hymn." And the German couple's going, "Da," and we're saying, I guess so. What else are we gonna do?" And so they did, and the group was really good. They were good singers. The acoustics were fantastic.
I imagine.
It was really surreal. Lisa, got permission and filmed a little bit of it, with her flash on the phone, and how good it was is that sounds good on a phone, playing it on a phone. Yeah, and just we were there because it was the 2018 WSGA campout, and so we were very close. All of us in the campout probably went and did that tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's really super close to Canada. You can actually walk into Canada from there, and people do, I guess. But
could you tunnel into Canada?
You don't. There's nowhere to go from there on foot, so you end up coming back and say, "Well, that was Canada, huh?" And then, but yeah, so those are the caves I'm talking about. This is cool. We had a happy accident.
The Garner Caves and the Gardner Caves. Got to see them both now.
Now there's 2 places. We got to add another one to the list.
Keep adding to the list. It's a long list. I'm not sure we're going to get through it all, but let's keep trying.
GSM times 2 asked, is Eastern Washington designated as a desert? Well, parts of it are. A good portion of it is considered high desert.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just because there's very little rainfall. Yes, it also gets hot. Now, Spokane and the east corner of the state is not. And the next part we're going to talk about is not officially a desert either. The next part I want to talk about is the Methau Valley, and that's right off the mountain. So as you're driving east from, the west, anywhere on the coast, and you want to go see, the vast majority of the country, you drive through Eastern Washington. But you have to go over the mountains, and the mountains are what separate the east from the west. And, there are many times that the folks on the east said, you know what, we don't agree with everything going on in the west. We want our own state. Well, it hasn't happened yet, and I don't see it happening. But nonetheless, there is that division. So the Methau Valley is a region known for trails, crystal clear lakes, and unparalleled natural beauty, making it a top destination for outdoor enthusiasts. Now, it's nestled in the heart of the Cascade Mountains. Those Cascade Mountains, that's what divides the east and the west. Offers a wide variety of activities for people of all ages: biking, skiing, snowmobiling, right? You can go out there in the winter and then go and have some fun. North Cascades National Park is in the Methau Valley. You want to go there. That is absolutely gorgeous. You've got the Methau River running through there. That's the Cascade Curtain. Yes, there you go. Sorry, I'm trying to read and catch up with the chat. There's a couple of towns that are absolutely worthwhile stopping at. First of all, Winthrop.
Winthrop's awesome. Yeah.
It's a little Western themed town that attracts visitors. It's got a wooden boardwalk, historic storefronts. The town is home to a number of restaurants, shops, galleys, and it's also right near the Peregrine Lake State Park with cabins to rent. And I can say I've rented one of those cabins and stayed there. It's quite nice.
I've stayed in a cabin in Winthrop too. It wasn't in the state park, but there's lots of places up there to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of fun. You got to go see Winthrop. It's fun to walk on the wooden boardwalks. You just don't see that anymore. I'll tell one little story. My wife and I were, the kids were with us, and we're walking down looking at the shops, and we look at this one door and kind of peek in and go, that looks interesting. She opens it up, walks in, and we realize we've just walked into somebody's house. Like, this is not a shop.
You're probably not the first.
Now. So apparently they don't lock their doors in Winthrop. You can just walk in. They're friendly people.
Yeah, Meadow Valley is really something else.
Mm-hmm.
Wintertime can be a little hard to get to, but when you do get there, the cross-country skiing is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There are over 120 miles of groomed trails to cross-country ski there. Snowshoes, ice skates, guided snowmobile tours.
Another little town that's just fun to say is Twisp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Whenever you go through, you need to stop by the Twist and Shout coffee shop and get something.
Now I want coffee.
It's real.
It sounds like the entire town has a lisp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so the Winthrop area, Meadow Valley is legendary cachers, the Barn Birdies are based out of there. And yep, reading my mind, if not my show notes, I've tried to keep them secret. And so, and so that valley is special for Lisa and I for a couple of reasons. And first of all there was an awesome cache machine there in 2011. It was one of the first ones that was spread way out in the country, and it wasn't so urban. And that one of the features of this cache machine was called the Ruby Grade. It was such a steep hill that we had special instructions on that cache machine to go at it from one direction only, all of us, because it was steep. They want you to go downhill instead of uphill. Plus, it wasn't wide enough where cars could pass each other.
Okay.
So we've caravan. We get to the top, and then we start going down. Groups of us, and Lisa and I are riding with Lauren, night cacher, and then Ross, Scareway. He's driving. He's driving his big rig SUV, and we're going down. There's people behind us, people ahead of us, and the three of us are gabbing away, looking out the window. Oh, that's like straight down right there, things like that. And then we start noticing Ross he is struggling at the wheel like he's a NASCAR driver going on 210 miles a Talladega. He's just like this, and we're saying, Ross, what's wrong? And he's, we're out of gas. And I said, what? And how can we be out of gas? He said, oh, we're out of gas. And then it dawns us, when you're out of gas, the engine stops.
Right.
And when the engine stops, your power steering stops.
Yeah.
And your power brakes stop.
Yeah.
So this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to save us all. He's trying not to wreck who's in front of us, and trying not to go over the ledge. And so it was an intense couple moments.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Until we get to the bottom. And sure enough, we level out and turns the key and it starts right up. So technically we weren't out of gas, but the grade was so steep that all the gas in his tank was gravitating to the front and away from the pickup.
Away from the pump pickup tube, yeah.
And so yeah, we had a story to tell on that.
Did you make it out alive?
Just barely.
Okay.
Just barely. And then the second reason that the Valley's special for Lisa and I, and that's where we honeymooned.
Oh,
And
that's
nice.
special.
Yep, we went back on our 5th anniversary as well, and we're planning to go again next year on our 10th. It's an awesome place.
Very good. Some great memories up there, yeah.
Yep. Nice. Now, we've mentioned the WSGA, the Washington State Geocaching Association. They have a couple of chapters out that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a map of Washington, you'll see I-90 kind of splits it in half, north to south.
Yep.
Right. So, of course, the chapters follow that. So in the Cascadian chapter, that's I-90 and north. You've got Ellensburg, Wenatchee, Leavenworth. We didn't even mention Leavenworth, a great little German town. You've got the Inland Empire, which to wit's end is in California, but actually it's here as well. And that's the eastern edge of the state. That includes Spokane. You've got the South Central. That's I-90 South, including the Tri-Cities, Walla Walla, which is another fun city to say, and Pullman. Yep. We mentioned that. So there you go. You've got the WSGA. All those 3 chapters all have geo tours out. 20 geocaches in each one. So there's 60 geocaches right there in Eastern Washington. Not to mention all the great ones that we've talked about tonight.
There are a ton of them. Let's see. Do we want to jump down a bit, or
yeah, we'll talk about geo art quickly. You want to do that with
geo art? There is a ton of geo art over here, both current and past geo arts. There's the sun and star, and there used to be a moon, I'm told. The sun was from the 2014 WSGA campout. That's just south of Grand Coulee. The star south of Keystone, that's near Ritzville on I-90. That's over towards Spokane. Ritzville's getting over that way. And it was part of a nationwide project, or is part of a nationwide project, the USA 50 State Star Geo Art. So every state has a star. The artwork has 51 caches. And, gosh, it's Eastern Washington. So the notes say, bring plenty of water and snacks and beware of rattlesnakes. You think it's Eastern Washington. Yeah, so some great geo art out here.
I just took the time this week after I saw the geo art. I was I got to look at that star geo art. So I went and solved them all.
Okay, good.
They're puzzle caches. Now I'm telling my wife we got to go to Ritzville. There's 51. Well, there's a bunch more. There's another puzzle cache nearby, and then there's I want to say 5-6 puzzle caches to get you off the right exit of the freeway. Here, take this exit.
I see. And JD, you've done part of that, huh?
Yeah. I'm one of those old fogies in caching. I'm one of those, you kids get your power trail off my lawn, and I'll only do a power trail if I'm going to ride my bike. I like to say the ET highway, I walked it when I did it, which is true. I got 4 of them as part of a CETO, or while I'm there, I'll pick it up. But a promotion was happening. I needed 25 geocaches, and I know where there's some, and drove out there, took my bike off the back of the rig, and pedaled around and got 25 of them.
Nice.
And so I got half a star on my map now. It looks sort of goofy, but Lisa and I will get out there on that. The camp out star, it's still going strong. I mean, 2014, it's going to be 10 years old here. And that was put together. There's a lot of work on that. It was headed up by Sunshine Geo and Mr. Gadget 2. And they solicited from us cachers to everybody contribute a puzzle for this, or 2 if you can. And so I did, I'll give you a puzzle. I want number 19, and I made it all about the power of 19, and people liked it. Nobody, didn't give it an unfavorite point. And so a couple of years later, though, our group in Spokane had one of our cachers put on a puzzle solving party, and with a focus on the Washington sun or the camp out sun. Well, naturally, people are coming up to me to get hints on the puzzle. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember how I set it up. I'm looking at it. I couldn't solve it. That was embarrassing. Luckily, our puzzle solving expert cruising for cash was at the event, and he sort of calls me over and he says, JD, here's how you did this. Here's how you solved it.
Nice.
Well, yeah.
That is embarrassing. Yeah.
But the other funny thing about that camp out, it was at Sun Lakes where we talked about earlier, and with the camp out sun being all shiny and new, that Saturday everybody goes off to get it, except Lisa and I and a couple other people. Her dad was with us then, and we were in the tent area, lots of tents, and all of a sudden those big massive sprinklers go off. The campground had forgot to turn them off, and these people are gone. There's nothing we could do, and it just soaked tent after tent after tent. And it it wasn't a good soak. Like, I am so hot. I'm just going to jump into my tent and splash around. It was, yeah.
Yeah, those are powerful
It was something to
sprinklers.
remember. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we are getting late in the show
Yeah,
here,
we are.
but I think we have to hit one more big event, the Tri-Cities GeoCoin Challenge. It's coming up next month. It's an annual event. I've never actually done it. I've always been busy that weekend, but now I live in the Tri-Cities, so I'm going to try to do it this year.
Absolutely.
24th of June.
I believe so. Last weekend in June.
Yeah, 24th of June.
Yeah.
So that's GCA 307W.
All right.
And it's a. Oh, go ahead.
It's a very doable GeoCoin challenge from what I've been told, because I haven't done it. But I do know that I talked to one of the local cashers that's part of organizing it and said the coin is pretty amazing this year. They always do a pretty amazing GeoCoin. We're going to have somebody on the podcast here to talk about that coming up soon.
I always hold this one up as an example of an amazing geocoin.
That's
This
a good
is
one.
one that looks like an atom.
Yeah.
For the stem one. And it's fantastic. So yeah, they do excellent work. It's worthwhile going. It's easy to do in a day. This year is going to be a mix between Adventure Labs and actual caches. In the last couple of years, with the pandemic and everything going on, it's all been Adventure Labs. So more of a virtual type find, and they're going to have physical finds along with it this year. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
All right. JD, are you with us, or are you having technical issues there? I think he's having audio issues there. I'm not sure he can still hear us.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to. I think batteries died on his earbuds, and he's got to switch his audio gear to get the headphones working.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, we've chatted about the Tri-Cities GeoCoin Challenge, and we're running late here, getting ready to wrap up. But I understand there's a certain geocacher that you want to mention before we close the show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, one last legendary geocacher, the 509. Okay. So, some may say I'm just name dropping or biased, but truth be told, I would say what I'm about to say, even if I wasn't married to her. Okay. So yeah, of course, that's the lovely Lookout Lisa. You folks can call her Lookout Lisa. So she's been a fixture in our sport for a super long time, right? She's owned a business. She's been caching even before she owned the business. One of the longest lasting geocaching businesses out there. When I met her store was in her basement, right? Since then, it's grown. It's moved to a warehouse. She's been able to provide locations, almost like a clubhouse for our local gang, and provided us the space and the opportunity to put on our Spokane GeoCoin challenges that we have done over the years with the help of our great crew. So yeah, so with the there you go, Scott. Very true.
Hardest working woman in geocaching, he says.
So honey, keep it up. And so,
Lisa, thank you so much for all you do. We know you're listening.
Yeah.
And we certainly appreciate all that you do. I mean, we didn't even mention the Spokane Geo Tours, the GeoCoin challenges there. There's a lot going on in Eastern Washington. We picked a few of the highlights that we thought would be interesting for everyone, and they depict the natural beauty of the area. So go out, go explore Eastern Washington. And folks, thank you for taking this time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. We hope you enjoyed it.
That's right. And of course, we want to take a moment and thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They ship online orders daily. And of course, for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. Let's see what else we got here. Just want to thank the faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country Geo Tour, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashly. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
And I'd like to thank all our patrons, but they seem to have disappeared.
Well, we will sort that out.
We will sort that out. I know M-Nerve is our newest patron, so thank you, M-Nerve.
Oh, welcome. And Kid Rattle Off Plover and Kid Vegas 19 is a patron.
Exactly. One of our favorites. Folks.
If you don't mind, I would like to say,
yes, please.
If I can do it, you can do it. It's that easy.
What are you talking about? Geocaching?
Being a
patron. We appreciate your support. We appreciate all the patron support, and sorry for the technical difficulties. The list just disappeared from the show notes, but we will read them all next week.
I'm hitting Control Z trying to bring it back. I don't know when it disappeared or what happened. So anyway,
a lot of them are in the chat. So thank you.
Yes, exactly. You know who you are. We'll talk. I don't want to mention some and miss others.
Right.
So thank you all so much. JD, thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. We really appreciate this.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on, even though it has ruined your reputation and you'll take probably 12 more shows before you recover. So,
well,
if someone was coming to your neck of the woods and had a question about caching there, or just wanted to get in touch with you and comment on your show, on the show tonight, how would somebody get in touch with you?
So kidvegas19 at gmail.com is one way, or of the messaging feature on our geocaching apps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there you go.
Fantastic. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. And if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want us to talk about, because I don't think we can get much better than this. In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Subscribe and give us a review. Now, if you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can also call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or help us with sunscreen and water any time of the day or night. We're in Eastern Washington. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwoods, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2022 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, we ask you to stay tuned for
the after show.
And you know what? Maybe we don't do the after show because we're already an hour and 8 minutes into this one. Holy cow. We had so much to talk about. And I don't feel like we covered Eastern Washington well.
We didn't get it all. No, there's so much to see over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I tell you, people talk about, wanting to save caches near their home coordinates for streaks or whatever. If you just move to the other side of the state, I got lots of caches right around me.
There are a lot of power trails in Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
There are puzzle power trails. There are letterbox power trails, and of course, traditionals. In case you want to know, B. Pendragon did some podcast baking with a loaf of beer bread.
Oh, I've made beer bread. It's good.
And Brylang adds the 6th annual Fraser Valley Cache Bash starts this Saturday morning.
Huh.
Oh,
FraserValleyCacheBash.Brylang.com. Check it out.
I just want to go to Brylang.com now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a website.
You do now.
Okay. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. And until next week, get out and get caching in Eastern Washington.